teach drum set lessons full-time. Another thing too is you can mix up the rhythms that you play per se, or use different figures within the rhythm that you're playing for your fill. I'm a musician too. I do some playing. So currently playing with the Soulmate Band, which is a band dedicated to old school soul and R&B and funk. I'm also doing a couple side projects with music, which are, you know, don't take up so much time. They're just more for fun. The actual moment that I came into knowing that I probably wanted to do drums and play drums for the rest of my life, while I was actually hanging out with my dad listening to a Neil Diamond record. And Hot August Night live, and there's a great drum breakdown on the B side of one of those records. And ran downstairs and grabbed my dad's wooden dowels and came upstairs and started pounding on the wooden floor before my dad had a fit. And it was at that time that my mom spoke up and said, you know, obviously this is something that you instinctively or, you know, intuitively are gravitating towards. You know, is this something you're interested in? Long story short, I was in a school band the next year, and that continued to 8th grade. Of inspiration at this point are pretty interesting, and I think they're varied. You know, depends on whether you're talking about teaching or playing. So with the teaching, I mean, that's just student after student who comes in here is really passionate about what their interests are in terms of learning. You know, whether it's for a 4-year-old who's learning for the first time, or an adult who's trying to rekindle their interests that they've had for a long time, and things like that. So the teaching is just the students that continue to show up on a weekly basis, and, you know, I could be having the worst day of my life, or what I think is the worst day of my life, and all I have to do is have that one moment where there's a smile or there's some sort of interaction where they're learning, and that's inspiration for days at that point.
My name is Andrew McDonald. I've been with Chris for 5 or 6 years on and off. I'm in like 3 or 4 bands right now. I just joined another one that does like classics and classic rock, stuff like that, and that's probably the most serious one I'm in. It's called Powerhouse.
So fills, if they come from triplets, we could play triplets. So even let's just start out with just real straight ahead, one measure of the shuffle, and then one measure of 8th note triplets. It sound like this. I'll play on the hi-hat so you can hear me a little bit better. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ready?
All right.
So yeah, there's like numerous ways you could take this one rhythm and split up around the kit. Make sure when you're playing these though, you try to stay true to the form. So one measure the groove, one measure the fill, because that way you're thinking even number of measures, groups of 2 and then groups of 4. The playing, there's a lot of different things. I think you know, going to see live shows and see drummers that are heroes to me, whether it's, you know, Tower Power or Roy Haynes, someone like that, that just, you know, actually seeing one of those shows kind of changes you for a couple weeks, where you're really kind of refueled and rejuvenated and re-inspired, and it's almost like a spiritual experience, which is kind of cool. So, but then also, you know, continue to study, and learn more from other people. So that keeps me going and opens me up to new ideas, you know, creatively on the drum set, and then, you know, being able to continue to further what I for knowledge. So those, I think, those are probably the two biggest things, just going to see live music and then just seeing other players in the area too, you know. One of my commandments of drumming is to be the most musical drummer possible, so you have to play what the situation calls for. So I'm lucky that I have, you know, basically I'm in a working R&B band right now, the Soulmate Band. So playing in that sort of context where you have to keep those grooves alive and play for the sound and play it as authentically as possible, but also maybe kind of retain some energy that a live show brings to the music or allows the music to feed upon. Retaining that sort of energy while holding down the grooves is it allows for some creativity. Side project called Thurston Manship, which is just organ and drums, and that's really, I think, where the most creativity comes out. We're able to take all of the stuff that I've been working on and listening to with funk and R&B and second line stuff for a long time, and really trying to use those ideas in my, you know, with my own sound, but of course to make those tunes come alive that we're writing, and they're all original. So that's probably the most creative that I get. All the students bring a notebook to the lessons. I started writing some of my own examples down, or just putting some structure to what we were talking about, using a few different texts, and it just kind of occurred to me after a while I was writing the same type of things down, and so in the process I was subconsciously creating a system or approach to use to teach. And the more I did this, the more I found out that I liked my approach, and I thought it was very cohesive and sound, and it made sense. It was very structured. The book, which hopefully will be titled From the Basement to the Bars and Beyond, is a drum methods text, which kind of helps people more geared towards intro and intermediate players. It kind of helps them get off the ground, and is a text that I'll be using to teach my students.